Just 2 years ago, Elias Pettersson looked like the NHL's next superstar, a 100-point force leading the Canucks back to glory. But almost overnight, his dominance vanished. What happened to Vancouver's golden boy? From elite talent to major question mark, this is the rise and shocking fall of Elias Pettersson. Roughly 18 months ago, Elias Pettersson was at the peak of his powers. After a 39-goal, 102-point season, the Vancouver Canucks star center appeared to be ascending into the NHL's elite. At the 2024 All-Star break, Pettersson was producing at a blistering 45-goal, 107-point pace and had just been named one of the league's 3 stars for January following a scorching 14-goal, 13-game stretch. The Canucks sat tied for first place in the league standings, and Pettersson was on the verge of signing an 8-year, $92.8 million extension, the richest contract in franchise history. But that stretch marked the last time, at least so far, that Pettersson looked like a dominant, game-breaking force. In the months that followed, his production plummeted. Over his final 33 games of the 2023-24 season, he managed just 25 points and only 3 goals at 5-on-5. His struggles deepened in the postseason, where he scored a lone goal in 13 playoff appearances. When the season ended, Pettersson disclosed that he had been playing through a lingering knee injury that had worsened since January, a revelation that lined up precisely with his mid-season decline. The admission offered a glimmer of hope for Vancouver fans, suggesting that a healthy offseason could allow their franchise cornerstone to rediscover the elite form that once placed him among the NHL's very best. That long-awaited rebound never materialized. Instead, Elias Pettersson endured the most disappointing season of his career, finishing with just 15 goals and 45 points across 64 games. Once celebrated as Vancouver's golden boy, he quickly became the targeting of mounting frustration, his $11.6 million cap hit only amplifying the criticism. It's exceedingly rare for a player in his mid-20s to experience such a steep and sustained decline. The question now is, what changed in his game to cause such a drastic dip in production, and whether there's any reason to believe a resurgence is still possible. One of the most glaring differences throughout the season was Pettersson's skating. His stride looked unusually flat and heavy, most noticeably when he attempted to carry the puck through the neutral zone. The data supports that visual impression. Both his top skating speed and frequency of bursts above 20 miles per hour have dropped considerably from 2 seasons ago. At his best, Pettersson was a dynamic puck handler who could slip through defenders and generate rush chances with ease. Lately, those flashes of speed have been absent. Time and again, plays that once turned into transition opportunities instead fizzle before they can develop. While some critics point to effort level, that argument doesn't fully hold up. When Pettersson has the puck, he appears to be skating with intent and exertion. The issue seems less about willingness and more about capability, as though his legs are no longer able to generate the same explosiveness that once defined his game. As his skating has declined, Elias Pettersson has increasingly relied on a dump-and-chase approach rather than the controlled, rush-driven style that once defined his game. Some observers have pointed to former head coach Rick Tocchet's system as the reason for his diminished rush offense, but that explanation doesn't hold up under closer scrutiny. From the day Tocchet took over as Canucks head coach up until the 2024 All-Star break, Pettersson amassed an impressive 112 points in 85 games. Elite production by any standard. If the system was truly restricting his offense, such sustained success under Tocchet's direction wouldn't have been possible. Moreover, Pettersson's struggles extended beyond Vancouver. At the Four Nations face-off, where he reunited with his former Vaxio coach Sam Hallam, he failed to record a single point for Sweden. That performance reinforced the notion that his issues run deeper than coaching tactics. What once made Pettersson special was his creativity and deception. Early in his career, his dangles became a rallying cry in Vancouver, a nod to his dazzling stick handling and composure under pressure. Even opponents drew comparisons between him and Pavel Datsyuk for the way he could manipulate defenders with subtle fakes and effortless poise. At his peak, Pettersson could transform low-danger possessions into high-threat scoring chances, using slick hands and spatial awareness to carve through defensive structures and move the puck from the perimeter into scoring areas, a skill that has been noticeably absent from his game of late. Instead, Pettersson has opted for a far safer, more conservative style, rarely challenging defenders head-on. When he has attempted his trademark moves, they've often looked awkward and forced, frequently resulting in turnovers rather than scoring chances. The combination of diminished skating speed and reduced stick handling sharpness has left Pettersson confined to the perimeter offensively. His once elusive ability to weave into dangerous scoring areas has vanished. Getting back inside the defense isn't simply a matter of effort or willpower. It requires regaining the finesse, balance, and poise that once made him a master of deception. There were faint signs of recovery late last season as Pettersson tallied 10 points in 9 games during a March resurgence, but just as he began to rediscover his rhythm, an injury sidelined him for the remainder of the campaign. Pettersson's early success in the NHL was also fueled by a lethal shot, one that combined pinpoint accuracy with a heavy release. His wrist shot could pick corners with surgical precision, and his one-timer was among the league's best, a skill underscored when he won the hardest shot competition at the 2023 All-Star Game. Yet, that weapon has largely gone dormant. His shot volume has collapsed from 257 shots over 80 games in 2022-23, an average of 3.2 per game, to just 109 shots in 64 games last season, a mere 1.7 per game, representing a staggering near 50% decline. For a player once known as a dual-threat scorer and playmaker, that drop-off has been perhaps the clearest indicator of how far his offensive confidence and assertiveness have fallen. A major factor behind Elias Pettersson's scoring decline has been his inability to reach prime shooting areas with the same ease as before. His reduced speed and loss of elusiveness have made it far more difficult for him to navigate into high-danger zones, forcing him into less threatening positions on the ice. Compounding that problem is a newfound hesitancy when he does get the puck, particularly on the power play, where he's often double-clutched or passed up clear shooting lanes that he would have attacked decisively in previous seasons. In the past, Pettersson's hallmark was his clinical precision and ruthless decisiveness. When he found even a sliver of daylight, he didn't hesitate. He struck. That killer instinct has faded, and the data reflects it. According to NHL Edge tracking, Pettersson's shot velocity has notably declined. 2 seasons ago, he recorded 110 shot attempts that reached speeds of at least 80 miles per hour. Last season, that number plummeted to just 25. When the symptoms of his decline are easy to identify, the root cause remains far less clear. Several theories have circulated around Vancouver. Reports suggest the Canucks were dissatisfied with Pettersson's off-season training and conditioning last summer, believing he didn't prepare with the same intensity as in years past. There's also the possibility of a lingering physical issue, perhaps a residual effect of the knee injury that hampered him late last season, or an entirely new ailment. That could explain the sudden and pronounced drop in his skating speed. And beyond the physical factors, there's an undeniable psychological element. The confidence and swagger that once made Pettersson one of the NHL's most dynamic players appear to have evaporated, leaving behind a version of him that looks hesitant, uncertain, and unrecognizably subdued. The question now is whether Elias Pettersson can rediscover the elite form that once made him one of the NHL's most dangerous centers. His ability to bounce back will likely depend on whether his physical tools, particularly his acceleration, top-end speed, and shot velocity, return to their previous levels. If those attributes rebound, the mental side of his game, including his confidence and swagger, will almost certainly follow. But if he remains an average skater with a diminished shot that can no longer threaten goaltenders from range, it's hard to imagine him regaining his status as a point-per-game offensive force. The challenge in forecasting his future lies in the uncertainty surrounding what caused his decline in the first place. Without clear answers as to why his skating and shot power have regressed, predictions come with considerable doubt. Pettersson's career numbers, however, offer some optimism. Over 460 points in roughly 480 games through his 7 NHL seasons is a level of production few players ever reach. That history suggests a strong bounce back is possible, even if not guaranteed. Vancouver's front office faces a monumental decision regarding Pettersson's future this offseason. If management harbors doubts over his long-term trajectory and about paying $11.6 million annually for 6 more years, they could explore trying to trade him. Yet, such a move would create another significant problem. The Canucks already need to add a top 6 center even if Pettersson stays, and losing him would leave 2 major vacancies down the middle. Given how critical this season is for Vancouver, particularly with Captain Quinn Hughes eligible for a contract extension in 2026, the Canucks' best bet may be to trust that their star will rediscover his form. For both Pettersson and the franchise, the stakes couldn't be higher. And there you have it. That's the rise and shocking fall of Elias Pettersson. So what do you think? Does Pettersson have what it takes to get his career back on track? Or will he end up as the NHL's next biggest what-ifs? Let us know in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more videos.